So I got some news on what I'm doing now. Everyone who's in the Zeta's Discord already know what I am up to right now. So, let's start with this. So Zetas, they're cool and all, but realize there are problems behind the scenes and with performance, all that stuff. Just to remind, the code or the add-on was my first add-on, so that basically makes sense why the code and stuff was a big mess. Because that's the first add-on I've released Lua-wise, like actual add-ons, not maps and stuff. It did its job, but it didn't support multiplayer. Clients could easily modify the server's files, all that stuff. You know, it's quite a mess on its own, but we love them still. But I think a week ago or so, however long ago, I've been getting thoughts, and well, I've went through with them and decided to go with my idea. So, you can see right here, Lambda Player. What is this? It's a entire rewrite on the Zetas. So, what this means is I'll be just rewriting the Zetas entirely from scratch. All their code and stuff, all from scratch. So this means I'm going to be bringing back most of the features the Zetas had, but I will be dropping some features, likely the team system and some other stuff that won't make it in. So that'll be one downside, which I won't call it, but I'm sure some people will call it that, to this rewrite. So, what was I gonna say? Right now, guys, obviously they got these settings right here. Debugging. This is what debugging looks like. It's in console now. It's no longer printed in chat. See, all this stuff. I'll keep that on for now. Corpse cleanup. You could probably also notice these settings have a server-side or client-side prefix on them. Lambda Players, as they're called, will hopefully support multiplayer very well. I'm in multiplayer right now, so because I'm coding them while in multiplayer. Interesting thing I'll mention while we're on the topic of multiplayer. Multiplayer performs way better with these guys than single player. So if you're trying to have like a insane amount of these guys, like I don't know, hundreds, kind of like I've gotten up to 100 with like 40, 50 FPS or so. There's also some optimization, but it's on how does instead of single player. So keep that in mind. Multiplayer generally probably will work better for these guys, which is ironic since Zeta's only encourage you to only use them in single player, but these guys, I'd say multiplayer performs a bit better, but they still work in both areas. So anyways, back to this. Client side and server side. Client side, we're going to talk in a multiplayer sense. Client side is your own settings, so like you can have the ragdoll, your own ragdolls, like stay forever like this. Other people can have their own client-side settings and stuff. That's a basic explanation of client-side settings. They're per person. Server-side settings are, well, settings set on the server, and you can't change those at all unless you're the server owner. So I can change this to like 1 second. And in 1 second, it'll be gone. Also, yeah, speaking of corpses, ragdolls are forced to be client-side, and dropped weapons like this, they're all client-side. They will not be ran on the server at all, so that will greatly lighten load on the server too. Of course, this is a multiplayer thing. Why we're doing that? Warn stereo voices. Should warn you about voice lines that have stereo. Now let me spawn a couple. Obviously, with the voices of the Zetas, you had the option to either source engine to play sounds or the base audio system. And, well, source wasn't very good at all. So I completely got rid of that option to use source engine, and all voice lines will be forced to use the base audio system, which, like, it has more advantages than disadvantages than source. You can hear him speaking right now. Let me just spawn a couple more of these guys. Right now, they're playing entirely random sounds from Source Engine that Source has loaded right now. So it could be like sounds from, like, I don't know, Half-Life 2, CSGO, whatever sounds that are currently loaded. Much placeholders, because I don't have any voice lines like the Zetas have yet. This guy's playing the Half-Life 2 Episode 2 Extinction event, something like that. If I turn this on, eventually we'll see a error, not an error, just a warning message in console. You probably heard that pop. So I'll explain that in a second. You can see, here it is. It has a stereo track and won't be played in 3D, but the sound will continue anyways. You could disable these warnings. Previously, base audio system with the Zetas, if sounds had a stereo channel, which means they would be like, the sound wouldn't play at all. It would. The sound, but heard it. There was some since do about that. So it's just a good idea to make sure your sound files have no stereo channel or change. Well, uh-oh. I will look into that. I probably broke someone, but that's alright. Again, previous lines were sequentially, which means like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stuff, and it's very strict. It doesn't even matter. Was for optimization reasons, Because back then I was very concerned on performance. But voice lines, really, I don't think it really did much, probably. Who knows? It's a good optimization method, but I know it caused a lot of pain and time consumption trying to make like voice packs or your own custom voice lines. I get it. I've been there too. I was like, this is real annoying, especially when working on those large voice packs. So, what changed is you don't have to do that anymore. To name the file sequentially anymore, but there's one thing I would ask. Okay. There's one thing when you do work on custom voice lines with these guys. Again, they're not released yet, I'm just saying in the future. Just try to keep them like letters and numbers only. You can also have those characters as well, but try to keep it like those only, because there are characters that the base audio system will that does not like and will refuse to play the sound. Like the double spaces, it hates those. Any like weird characters, it will hate them. So just try to keep it these numbers, letters, dashes, and underscores only. That's a real big change. Random file table cleared, which of course gets out of memory. Obviously, since we're doing that now, we can literally play random sounds from the source engine. We're basically open to do a whole lot more. Like in a dev talk, I think yesterday or so, joke about using this ability and say like glass breaking sounds and stuff, random glass sounds, random box breaking sounds, G-Man sounds, sounds from the Red Letter Day chapter from Half-Life 2. It was real funny. Real to say about the voice lines and stuff. So I'm happy about that. I don't think there will be one person that will say, but it was fine the way it was. Anywho, this is just so if you have the cleanup down to 0, and you try to you know, these won't be cleaned up at all. So this will practically stay here forever. This will stay here forever when you have this at 0. So that command's there, so you can remove it whenever you want. It's just a server side thing, so you wouldn't have to really worry about this. Updated data. Much similar to server cache to Zeta's. Data will no longer be, the bots themselves will no longer create their own data. So we'll just move down. Side client. Play global. That's cool. You can change their volume on the fly too, because they'll update live. Let's see if we can. There, you can hear it. Keep it at 1. Voice pitch. This is server side, so it pretty much syncs with everyone. Here, client-side version of that. And then here's the like equivalent to equipment options. You can see Half-Life 2, Gary's mod, miscellaneous. It's all categories here. This is all done automatically. All these settings here are handled automatically. So that saves me a lot of time. I know people wanted this to be a thing right here before, 'cause there's like a whole lot of weapons for these guys. So for these, there's a button where you can just toggle an entire category. Very handy. I'm gonna move on now to respawning. And as you can see, I don't have a respawning entity or so. The reason is, these guys actually do the respawning themselves. Previously, the Zetas, there's a invisible entity that you can't interact with. Handles the so when
taste the flavor, chopper.
move from the game, and the respawning entity will respawn them by creating an entirely new entity. And you can probably guess that's not very good thing. You see a spike on my FPS there, it drops a bit every time it spawns. Normal. I just... Ow. Yeah, a separate entity handled the respawning, and it was very bad. Like, awful how the code had to work and stuff. It was just, ugh. With the Lambda, they do the respawning. So what... So, ridiculous person... My FPS just didn't get touched at all. Not at all. It ain't being affected whatsoever. I can't kill him. Yeah, he tried to attack me. Yeah, the FPS didn't hurt at all. It's very simple on how it does. It's pretty simple on paper. It just, you know, sets its position to where it spawned. Just reapplies some stuff. All sorts of stuff. It works a lot better than the Zetas had. And I'm very happy with it. It's pretty much all they have so far. I mean, you can see they got their name. Like, I'll just spawn these guys down. Let them go attack. It's gonna respawn. The swinging animations seems to be kind of broken on multiplayer. I don't think I can really fix how to fix that yet, but so yeah. Rewrite of the Zetas. Things telling you which is client. Some features will return, some features will not. So I wouldn't worry about that too much so far. Profile system. Remember any others will return and stuff. So yeah, that's all I have to say.